Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Excuse me. Welcome back to the Lifestyles Nutrition radio program. I'm your host, Amit S.Katz. I'm the owner of Lifestyles Nutrition Center in Indian Wells. We're located on Highway 111 and Cook Street. I'm also the author of the book, The Frontline of Nutrition, 50 Treatments, Remedies, and Cures you can find in a health food store, and the creator and progenitor of the Amit's Lifestyles Diet. If you go to Amit S, AMITS, Lifestyles, all one word, diet.com. You can find more information about the diet, the 6 principles, or the 6 pillars, as I like to call them, of my diet. It's basically designed to help you lose weight without hitting any stumbling blocks. So anyway, how are you doing this morning? I want to welcome all desert citizens. I want to welcome everybody in Palm Springs, Desert Hot Springs, Thousand Palms, Cat City, Rancho Mirage, Palm Desert, Indian Wells, La Quinta, Bermuda Dunes, Indio, and City of Coachella. How are you doing this morning? Actually, it's not morning. I keep on saying morning, but it's really afternoon. How are you doing? You feeling healthy? Maybe not so much. If you're not feeling that great, well, you've tuned into the right show, because the Lifestyles Nutrition radio program is designed to put pages in your own health manual playbook. It's designed to inform you, dispel any type of misinformation that could possibly be out there, to try to get you healthy, and so that you really do not delegate the health or the responsibility over your health to a stranger. And that, as I like to say, is very empowering. Coming up on the show today, at 15 past the hour, I'm going to be talking about the myth of cholesterol, or cholesterol, or basically the ABCs of cholesterol, what you really need to know about it, how to not freak out and panic and immediately go on some strange cholesterol regime, to know when your doctor is really kind of telling you, giving you the goods, trying to tell you what is right for you, what is not right for you. At 30 past the hour, I'm going to do best question of the week. We're going to go a little long this time because the question was really good and required a little bit more than just the standard 5 minutes of answering it. And then at 3:45, we're going to talk about, we're going to do herb of the week, and then the acupuncture report, and then we'll wrap it up for you. So the show topic today, I want to dive into this. It's very polarizing. The topic today is very polarizing in the United States. It's the good, the bad, and the ugly of medication. It's polarizing because they're really kind of, let's put it this way, there should be a gray area here. Everybody's saying, hey, why is everything black? Why is everything white? There should be a gray area here, and we should basically all be living in this gray area. Unfortunately, the experience that we have with medication is a lot of times not great, because there's a big push to either get you on them or get you off of them. Now, is medication bad? No. Medication is a good thing. If we didn't have medication, if we didn't have this progress, all this research, there's so many diseases that we can cure with medication. And again, maybe it's too broad of a term, medication. I mean, you could say, is an anesthetic medication? Yes, an anesthetic is medication. When you go in for a surgery, well, you want to do surgery like they did in the 1600s, when you bite down on a piece of wood and grit your teeth until you pass out? No, you want that type of progress. You want to be able to be put out and not go through that. So this whole push that we have with progress is a beautiful and wonderful thing, and we all benefit from it. Any research that's being done in all these fields, stem cell, cancer, all of it is benefiting humanity. So where does it go off the rails? Where do we go from, hey, it's all white into all black? What happens oftentimes is you have the sheer power of companies that create medication. And they designed this medication in order to help a particular ailment, a particular disease. And that carries with it a lot of power. what happens is it trickles down to the population. And then this law of unintended consequences kind of kicks in. So a company will come out and say, okay, we're going to design a medication that will help with sleep. Then it trickles down to the doctors. Then somebody comes in and they give them this medication. Well, it doesn't hit the mark sometimes. Not everybody responds to everything. If they give you one piece of medication or one type of medication that helps neurotransmitters or is supposed to sedate a particular part of the brain, and that's not your problem at all. You could have a sleep problem, not because of brain chemistry. You could have a sleep disorder because of a heart rhythm problem or a digestive problem. Well, it doesn't hit the mark. So then you try another and another. And then the doctors themselves, they don't know if it's going to work. They have some track record, but if it's a completely new drug, yeah, they went to the symposium, they got information about the drug, but lo and behold, they don't know how this is going to translate, and we don't know how this is going to translate over the next 10 years. The lab studies, the human trials that were done, those were very short. We don't know how this is going to perform over an extended period of time with 100,000 people. So what happens is the management of that medication becomes a problem. And this is where not only the law of unintended consequences kind of kicks in, but also the road to hell is paved with the good intention. We wanted to give you sleep. You went to the doctor and he said, no, I'm just going to make this person miserable? No, he wanted genuinely to induce sleep. He cared about you. You came to him and all he had was that 5 minutes, but he gave you those 5 minutes. He didn't intend things to go wrong. So then now you're in a situation where this isn't quite working. Do I add another medication to it? Maybe the doctor is, he didn't quite zero in on the problem. And it was a heart problem as opposed to a brain chemistry issue. So then things start to go off the rails. And then we as a society, we push back. We push back collectively. We stop being individuals and then we kind of band together, kind of like a group of sheep or deer or elk, and we have like this collective fear because you heard of a friend that had a problem, or a spouse, or a father, or a girlfriend, or a friend of a friend who had some problem with managing medications, and collectively it got very scary. So all of a sudden you have a bunch of people who are now on the flip side of this, that they're like, we know that stem cell research is beautiful and wonderful and it's going to save somebody's life and we'll be able to grow one day a completely new heart in a petri dish for somebody. And we also have on the other side, that's fine. My grandfather had a stroke and they gave him this medication, but I'm not going to take every drug that is thrown at me. In fact, I'm going to deny it now. Now I'm scared of it. Now I have the boogeyman fear, the boogeyman under the bed or in the closet of all medication. And that's why this is polarizing, because you have the medical establishment on the one hand that maybe should be a little bit kinder, gentler, a little bit better at managing medications for people and dispensing them. And on the other hand, you have us, the masses. We are now scared of it. Everybody has had a bad experience with medication. In fact, when you look at medication, you get a pamphlet from medicine. It will be, you won't sit and read through this medical jargon. It is way too big. The terms are scary because it will say can cause this ailment, that ailment, and death. And that's a very scary thing to see. So we're pushing back. The world we really should be living in is that gray area. There's something that has happened also with medication itself, that once the system becomes so big and pushes so hard, that all of a sudden drug companies get a little tricky-dicky too. They get a little clever. They start coming up, instead of us chasing a medication to target a disease, they come up with a disease and then create a medication. For instance, a few years back, there was a medication called, well, you know what? I'm not going to throw the name of the medication out. They coined this medication for restless leg syndrome. And then they went ahead and created a drug for it. Well, no. First, they created the drug. Then they created the restless leg syndrome. Well, in fact, all it was just a sleep medication. So now drug companies are chasing you to get on their medication. That is wrong. That should not be the order of the world. So, with that in mind, there is a gray area. We should be living in it. We maybe shouldn't be that suspicious of medication, but we shouldn't readily be jumping on and dispensing these medications either. When we come back from the break, I'm going to talk about the myth of cholesterol, because this kind of skates that tentative area between should I be on this stuff, should I not be on this stuff, and whether or not there are perfectly valid alternatives to it. So I'm going to break down the whole concept of what is cholesterol, what does it mean to have high cholesterol, the good, the bad, the ugly of cholesterol, and fill you in on that. You are listening to the Lifestyles Nutrition radio program on 1200 Money Radio.
If good health is important to you, look no further than products from Genesis Today. Genesis Today has a great line of nutritional supplements made from pure natural foods that your body can absorb, instead of chemical supplements manufactured in a laboratory. Genesis Today is a progressive nutrition company that specializes in superfoods. These exceptional plants and fruits are packed with vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and other vital nutrients at 20 times, 100 times, even 200 times the nutritional value of common fruits and vegetables. These products are prepared with low to no heat so as not to destroy the nutrients, and package them in non-toxic glass bottles for your consumption. Visit Lifestyle Nutrition Center today to find out what Genesis Today product is right for you.
Whenever I work out, my joints ache the next morning.
It's embarrassing to have to take the elevator instead of walking up one flight of stairs because your knees and ankles grind.
I tried glucosamine, and it doesn't work. Thank goodness I found out about Baxel. Now I'm ready to start my day.
Almost immediately I could feel the difference.
I needed Baxel's boost of hyaluronic.
It's safe, it's natural, and it's guaranteed joint relief. Let me spell it out. B-A-X-Y-L works. Knees, shoulders, hips, back. Nothing felt good until I took Baxel.
There's nothing like feeling great.
Running a 10K.
Riding bicycles with my grandkids.
I really miss working in my yard on weekends. Thanks to Baxel, I spend every Saturday outdoors.
Baxel lets me be active without worrying about how you'll feel tomorrow.
I asked myself, why did I feel so old for so long?
Baxel is available at Lifestyles Nutrition Center and online at lifestylesnutrition.net. Your joints will thank you.
Memory. It can be, less than reliable. Do you ever walk into a room and forget why you went in there? Ever lose your train of thought right in the middle of a conversation? What about misplacing your car keys or misplacing the whole car? If you think about it, your brain controls everything you do, walking, talking, and remembering things. The healthier your brain is, the better it's able to control all these important functions. As a normal part of aging, our memory begins to fade. Prevagen was developed to improve memory and support cognitive function. If you're experiencing occasional absent-mindedness or just want to support healthy brain function, then visit Lifestyle Nutrition Center in Indian Wells and ask for Prevagen. Prevagen is also available by calling 760-368-6522. Call 760-368-6522 or visit Lifestyle Nutrition Center and ask for Prevagen today.
Check out Money Radio online. Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook by searching My Money Radio, and get more at moneyradio1200.com.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Lifestyles Nutrition radio program. Before we went to break, I was discussing the good, the bad, and the ugly side of medication. It's important to remember when we talk about the good, the bad, the ugly of medication that, like I said before, the world is not black and white. There are people who genuinely need medication. There are people who genuinely need alternatives to medication. And there are genuinely people who should not be on medication at all. And that's the thing, how to figure out whether or not you should be on a particular medication. And that's why I wanted to do this segment in this this part of the show. I want to talk about cholesterol and the myth of cholesterol. Because cholesterol is, again, one of those very, very confusing areas of our health and of our life. And a few years back, probably about 15 years ago, there was a big push within the medical community to try to shoehorn the 6 billion people on the planet, to try and shoehorn them into a standard of what is correct cholesterol. And that threshold, the ultimate threshold that was given was 200 parts of cholesterol per, that was the measure, 200 parts. So when you go and you have your cholesterol test done, you'll see your cholesterol level is either below 200 or above 200. And that marker, that 200, is a mix of your good and your bad cholesterol. Now, there is a big pushback, not just from people within, who are not in the medical field, but within the medical field itself. They're pushing back on this concept of 200 threshold for cholesterol. And the reason why is they're saying, one, once you classify elevated cholesterol as being 200 and above, anybody who's marginally over that will immediately end up on medication. And that's an industry right now. There's a whole cholesterol industry, a whole push to get as many people on this medication. And it's not right. First of all, the pushback by people within the medical community, they're saying cholesterol is not what's threatening your life. Cholesterol is merely a red flag or an indicator, not even so much a red flag, but an indicator of your internal health, and that there are more important things within the levels of good and bad cholesterol that are more important to look at other than just this elevated cholesterol level. There's also a big pushback on this subject because they're saying that that 200 threshold was arbitrarily created, and that humans are not really supposed to have 200 cholesterol or below it. That in fact, there are a lot of people and whole groups of various nations, various ethnic groups who naturally knock around with about 225, and yet their life expectancy is no different than anybody else's. And in some cases, it's actually even better. So cholesterol is not the scary part here. But let's dive into what is cholesterol exactly, because a lot of people don't understand. I'll get people that will come to me they'll come to the store, they'll come to my store, Lifestyles Nutrition Center in Indian Wells, and they'll say to me, I had this test and they checked my arteries, and my arteries have cholesterol in them. No, that's not true. That's not what you have in your arteries. There are two things that block arteries. There's a fatty-based material, which is not cholesterol, and there's a calcium buildup within the arteries, and that's not cholesterol either. When they test you, again, that is born of a problem with your diet, and that will happen to somebody over an extended period of time if you're eating the wrong types of foods. If you're eating a diet that's really high in saturated fats, you're not getting enough vegetables, and your fiber is very low, and on top of that, you're eating a lot of sugar, that will throw your cholesterol off. So what is really cholesterol? Cholesterol, the marker that they check for, when you get your cholesterol test, it says total serum cholesterol, let's say 210. And then it'll have, you'll see 3 letters. It'll say HDL, LDL, and then 4 letters, VLDL. What LDL stands for, or HDL stands for, is high-density lipoproteins. LDL stands for low-density lipoproteins, and VLDL stands for very low-density lipoproteins. Those are true cholesterol. Now, what is a lipoprotein? Think of it like this. Imagine in your mind's eye that you have a gumball, and the outer structure of that gumball is protein, and the inner structure of that gumball is fat. That's a lipoprotein. And it's basically a transport unit. It takes fat from the digestive tract into the bloodstream, shuttles it to various cells of the body. It transports it to other sites where it can get used as a base for hormones. It basically, any fat, any transport of fat occurs through these lipoproteins. Why? Because fat is not soluble in water. And there's very little fat that can actually safely be dispersed throughout the bloodstream, just floating around by itself. And that is why that lipoprotein is essential. So it goes throughout the body, it's shuttling various nutrients in and out of cells, and that's good. So what's the difference between an HDL and an LDL? HDL is what we call good cholesterol, high-density lipoproteins, meaning it's a more efficient transport unit. The gumball is very dense. It has the ability to pick up fat that is thrown off into the system by other lesser, more inefficient lipoproteins, and it is very efficient. It just goes around doing its job. The LDL, the low-density lipoproteins, is not as efficient, and it will go throughout the body and from time to time throw plaque, what we call plaque, or those fats, into the bloodstream. And those will end up being thrown off in areas that will collect and then later on become a blocked artery. So it's not the transport unit itself that is blocking the artery. It is the fat material which does not dissolve well in blood, which is blocking the artery. Now, if LDL, a low-density lipoprotein, the bad cholesterol, is inefficient and it throws it off into the bloodstream, the HDL, the high-density one, will come and pick it up. So there's a ratio there of good to bad cholesterol. Now, the VLDL, the one that is the least efficient, those are very inefficient, and those will throw off plaque all the time into the body. So, if there is a good cholesterol and a bad cholesterol, there has to be a good to bad ratio between them. And that is the more important marker here, not the total serum cholesterol that you have. So if you have a 250 cholesterol on your test, you go to the doctor, they whip out the test, they show you, oh wow, you're at 250. That's not the most important thing here. On the other hand, you can have wildly high HDLs. Your HDL marker could be really, really high, and your LDL could be really low. And so it doesn't matter that your total serum cholesterol is over 200. Your body is efficient. Your body is producing the efficient part of cholesterol, which is compensating for that elevated level. Secondly, you may have come from an ancestry that required that high level of fat in the bloodstream. Why? Because you came from an ancestry that did hard work. And that's a good indicator to you. Hey, you're born for hard work. Then do hard work. There's nothing wrong with having that cholesterol there. Use it. It's a tool to your advantage. And in many ways, it can be seen as a strength as opposed to a weakness. Now, let's get into, I know I ran a little long on this whole technical side of good and bad cholesterol, but let's dive into the ratio one more time. When you go and you have a test for your cholesterol, they'll give you like a big ratio. We're constantly trying to, like I said, shoehorn things to give people that, hey, this is black, this is white. This is good, this is bad. This person, this human being in front of you did 99% of the stuff right, did 1% wrong. Is he good? Is he bad? Well, 99 to 1, that's a good ratio. He's good. Same thing with your cholesterol. They're trying to give you that ultimate marker in the bloodstream. So sometimes you'll see a ratio where they compare your HDL, which is your good cholesterol, to the total serum cholesterol. So let's say a person has HDLs at 50 and his total serum is at 200. They'll say it's a 4-to-1 ratio. Or they'll mark it as a 0.4, which is okay. That's fine. I like to use a different way of looking at things. I like to say 2-to-1 between good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. I'd like to say 2 bad cholesterols to 1 good cholesterol. That is the ultimate marker. That is the real strength of your blood, the real strength of your genetics, and that really tells you if you're doing good or bad. So if you have good cholesterol at, let's say, 60, and your bad cholesterol is at 110, you're better than a 2-to-1. 2-to-1 would have been 120 or 60 to 120. You're at 60 to 110. That makes your body even more efficient. So 2 bad cholesterol to 1 good cholesterol. 2 LDL to 1 HDL. That is true cholesterol strength. Now, should you get on statin drugs at the first hue and cry? No, don't get on statin drugs. Don't get on them. Calm down, take a deep breath, think to yourself, is there an alternative? Yes, and there are alternatives. So we need to look at the total serum cholesterol. We need to look at the ratio between good and bad cholesterol. And then we need to say, okay, do we really, really need to take it down a notch artificially, or can we do something which will help? We're coming up on a hard break. After the break, I'm going to expand a little bit more on the topic of cholesterol and try to get into a little bit more of the essentials of this. So you're listening to the Lifestyles Nutrition radio program on 1200 Money Radio.
Whenever I work out, my joints ache the next morning.
It's embarrassing to have to take the elevator instead of walking up 1 flight of stairs because your knees and ankles grind.
I tried glucosamine, and it doesn't work. Thank goodness I found out about Baxel. Now I'm ready to start my day.
Almost immediately, I could feel the difference.
I needed Baxel's boost of hyaluronic.
It's safe, it's natural, and it's guaranteed joint relief.
Let me spell it out. B-A-X-Y-L works. Knees, shoulders, hips, back. Nothing felt good until I took Baxel.
There's nothing like feeling great.
Running a 10K.
Riding bicycles with my grandkids.
I really missed working in my yard on weekend. Thanks to Baxel, I spend every Saturday outdoors.
Baxel lets me be active without worrying about how you'll feel tomorrow.
I asked myself, why did I feel so old for so long?
Baxel is available at Lifestyles Nutrition Center and online at lifestylesnutrition.net. Your joints will thank you.
Have you ever gone to a health food store seeking help and left with a product you didn't trust and information that was less than reliable? That never happens at Lifestyles Nutrition Center in Indian Wells. We have over 20 years of matching our customers with the right supplements to enhance their life and improve their health. Come to Lifestyles and experience our experience. Feel better, look better. And now, through the summer months, receive 25% off of all of our store supplements. For more information, call 760-568-6522. And remember the name, Lifestyles, the first, the last, and the only health food store you will ever need. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Lifestyles Nutrition radio program. Before we went to break, I was talking about cholesterol and the myth of cholesterol and just basically trying to elucidate the whole concept of cholesterol. Now, before we went to break, I was talking also about what do you do when you go to the doctor, he does that blood test on you, and he comes back and says that your cholesterol is high. Do we freak out? Do we immediately go and get on the cholesterol medication and start going down this road of medication? Well, let's break it down, okay? Let's say you went to the doctor and he said that your cholesterol was above 200. He should really follow that up and say, is it really high or is it marginally high? If it's at 205, when the threshold is 200, that's marginally high. If it's wildly high, if it's 250 and above, that's not so good. So, once we know where we are, whether we're marginally high or wildly or extremely high or very high, whatever way he wants to phrase that, then we need to look into the good to bad cholesterol. Because if it's only 205, you're only 5 points over. That could have been diet, it could have been stress, it could have been anything that you're doing. You could have had some extra fried food that the last month. Maybe you were on vacation and you just said, "Hey, I'm on vacation. I'm going to have deep fried cheese covered lard balls all vacation long because this is what they serve out here in Bali or wherever you went." And it made you happy, but it's not a real indication of the way you normally eat. Hopefully, you're not eating those in a hollandaise sauce as well. So the next question is, okay, I'm marginally high. Fine. What is the ratio of good to bad cholesterol? If you're marginally high and good to bad cholesterol is good, don't worry about it. There's certainly this is not the hue and cry to go and get on some medication that has side effects. Just so that you know, all statin drugs have side effects. It doesn't matter which one you take. And there's, I think it's something like 4 out of 10 people will experience some type of muscle pain as a result of taking them. As some of them are really bad. Some people take it and they immediately feel really, really bad from it, and others not so much. So again, 205 with good ratio of good to bad cholesterol, don't worry about it. You're fine. Don't get on the medication. If you are still concerned about it, up the fiber content in your diet, and I assure you that it will drop. It will drop. 10 to 20 points, you'll be within normal range. Fiber binds with cholesterol in the digestive tract, or binds with fats in the digestive tract, removes it from the body, and you're fine. You're good. Cholesterol is actually excreted by the bile duct. So if you're eating fiber and the fiber goes right by the bile duct, goes by the bile duct, just as it's giving off a burst of bile and bile salts, it will bind with it and remove it from the body, and that will drop your cholesterol. You'll be fine. Now, what if it's really, really high? You're above 250. Again, let's go back to the ratio. Is the ratio of good to bad cholesterol good? If it's good, don't worry about it. If you're still concerned, eat more fiber. If your fiber content isn't solving the problem, it's not dropping it, there's a natural way of going about it. There are a couple of herbs that are really effective. There's an herb from India called Google. Much like like when you go online, you want to search, it says Google. It's just spelled differently. It's spelled Guggle, or is it Guggel? And that will help drop it. There's also another nutrient called polycosanol, which also will help drop it. There's a bunch of stuff. Niacin will, if you take niacin every day of your life, it will count for at least 5 to 10 points less in your cholesterol. So, when should you really get on cholesterol medication? If your cholesterol is wildly high and your ratio is really, really off, and you're just not going to do anything alternative, you're not listening to my show. If you're not listening to my show, you're probably going to get on the medication. You're going to panic. You're going to say, hey, this is the be-all and end-all, the sum total of health. Fine. You're welcome to go down that road. But if you experience pain, it's time to get off the cholesterol medication, get on a fish oil, which also helps the rate. Oh, it's another thing. How can you help ratio of good to bad cholesterol? Fish oil. Fish oil is wonderful for that. That will also help good to bad ratio of cholesterol. So, are there things to do for cholesterol? Yes. Do we need to freak out at the first sign that our cholesterol is marginally high? No. Do we freak out when the cholesterol is really high? No. It's just life, and there are plenty of ways of dealing with it. So, if you have any questions about this, please fire them at me at lifestylesweb@yahoo.com. You could write me a question. More than happy to answer those. You're also welcome to call the store. Store number is 760-568-6522. And if you'd like to purchase Google or fish oil or red yeast rice or I forgot to say, red yeast rice is also another healthy alternative to statin drugs. If you'd like to purchase any of these things, red yeast rice, Google, polycosanol, fiber, fish oil, anything of that nature, you can also go to lifestylesnutrition.net. That's our online store, and you can pick those up. If you'd like advice before you shop, give me a call or write me a letter. Okay. So that's cholesterol in a nutshell. Let's do best question of the week. I probably went a little long on the cholesterol, but we'll do that. I think we can squeeze it in. Best question of the week was sent to me on Lifestyles Web at yahoo.com. As I'm apt to say, this isn't a bum show. If somebody calls in or fires a question at me and it's a good question, you can win a prize, or you will win a prize. Not that you can, you will win a prize. All you have to do is say, "Hey, Amit, you read my letter on the show. Show up at the store, and it's yours." So this week's question comes from Florence Isaacs of Bermuda Dunes. She says, "Dear Amit, love the show." Oh, thank you, Florence. You're a sweetheart. I have been getting hot flashes for the last 2 months. I have them at night when I go to bed, and now during the day as well. They are becoming more frequent. At first they were not so bad. Now they are very uncomfortable. I am 44 years old. Am I going through menopause? Okay. I need a little bit more information from you, Florence, but I'm going to entertain the various scenarios that are out there. Going through menopause at the age of 44 is not unheard of, but it's probably not the ideal change of life for you at this time. What I would like you to do is answer these questions, fire them at me through the email, and I'll weave them into what's going on. It isn't just the hot flashes that you're experiencing, because what is a hot flash? It's basically your hypothalamus, which is the gland in your brain, is trying to send a signal to your ovaries to say, start making estrogen or start making progesterone. And it's not accomplishing its task. The estrogen or the progesterone isn't rising to the proper level. And that's why they're constantly, there's a greater amplitude of them. They're getting fired more frequently, and they're more severe. Now, just because you have a hot flash does not mean that you're going through menopause. It can mean that, but it can mean many things. The more important thing to weave into this is whether you're getting your cycle still. Are you still getting your period? If you've been missing your period for 2 or 3 months, yes, maybe you are going through a little premature menopause here. If your period is on time, then it may be a situation where, how's your sleep? Is your sleep good? Are you getting enough sleep? Because if you're not getting enough sleep, you're not getting enough sleep, you're not nurturing your body enough. If you're not nurturing your body, it will tax the hormone base to the body. So sleep, not so good, maybe that will solve the problem. Secondly, diet. Everybody needs to remember that these hormones are actually they're nutritionally based. They're different esters, sterols that are found within our food that are the base material out of which we make these hormones. So, if we're not getting them in our diet, if you went through like some fad diet or something, and maybe you starved yourself of some essential fatty acids or some amino acids or something else, it can compromise the hormonal base of the body, and you can get hot flashes. And by the way, I know a couple of guys who get hot flashes from time to time. Not frequently like women, they'll get them at night. So it's not just a menopause thing or a manopause thing. So I need the information from you. I need to know how many cycles have you missed, if any. What was the nature? Was it a light flow, a heavy flow? When you got it, did it last 2 days with 3 days of spotting? What was going on with your cycle? Be very detailed about that, and then we can get into this. So, in and of itself, having hot flashes, no, not necessarily an indicator of menopause. But the good news is there are a few things that will really squash them really quickly, regardless of what's going on with you. One of the treatments that one of the things that I like to give for that is an herb. It's an herbal mix. I really love the way traditional Chinese medicine looks at this. They see hot flashes as sort of a kidney weakness. And there's a formula called 2 Immortals. Xian Wan is the Chinese name. Xian Wan or 2 Immortals. And 2 Immortals is very tonifying for the kidneys, and in a roundabout way, directly solves the problem of hot flashes. And that's kind of a silver bullet. I will use it with women who are genuinely in menopause. I will use it with women who are premenopausal, and I'll use it with women who are maybe something else is going on, they need a little help. That's a really, really good place to start. I probably in the coming weeks, I'm going to do a whole show just on hormone replacement. And, there's just some really basic stuff that we can do, that we know that we can do to get you on cycle without spending tons and tons and tons of money on blood tests and hormone replacement and, going down this road of, basically I want to do a whole show about just giving all the goods on hormone replacement. Well, I hope that was hopeful for you, Florence. Please, by all means, go ahead and get back with me on this. After the break, we're going to go now to break, and after the break, we're going to do Herb of the Week and the acupuncture report. I'm going to ask you folks for some help there. Anyway, you're listening to the Lifestyles Nutrition Radio program on Money Radio 1200.
Memory. It can be, less than reliable. Do you ever walk into a room and forget why you went in there? Ever lose your train of thought right in the middle of a conversation? What about misplacing your car keys or misplacing the whole car? If you think about it, your brain controls everything you do, walking, talking, and remembering things. The healthier your brain is, the better it's able to control all these important functions. As a normal part of aging, our memory begins to fade. Prevagen was developed to improve memory and support cognitive function. If you're experiencing occasional absent-mindedness or just want to support healthy brain function, then visit Lifestyle Nutrition Center in Indian Wells and ask for Prevagen. Prevagen is also available by calling 760-368-6522. Call 760-368-6522 or visit Lifestyle Nutrition Center and ask for Prevagen today. If good health is important to you, look no further than products from Genesis Today. Genesis Today has a great line of nutritional supplements made from pure natural foods that your body can absorb, instead of chemical supplements manufactured in a laboratory. Genesis Today is a progressive nutrition company that specializes in superfoods. These exceptional plants and fruits are packed with vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and other vital nutrients at 20 times, 100 times, even 200 times the nutritional value of common fruits and vegetables. These products are prepared with low to no heat so as not to destroy the nutrients and package them in non-toxic glass bottles for your consumption. Visit Lifestyle Nutrition Center today to find out what Genesis Today product is right for you.
Have you ever gone to a health food store seeking help and left with a product you didn't trust and information that was less than reliable? That never happens at Lifestyles Nutrition Center in Indian Wells. We have over 20 years of matching our customers with the right supplements to enhance their life and improve their health. Come to Lifestyles and experience our experience. Feel better, look better. And now, through the summer months, receive 25% off of all of our store supplements. For more information, call 760-568-6522. And remember the name, Lifestyles, the first, the last, and the only health food store you will ever need.
From the Coachella Valley out to the world. Listen to us anywhere. Streaming live 24/7 at moneyradio1200.com.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Lifestyles Nutrition Radio program. Before we went to break, I said we were talking about hormones. Yes, in the coming weeks, we're going to talk about hormone replacement therapy. I'm going to offer up my simple, easy solution to these things. So stay tuned. I'm not sure when we're going to do this, but it's definitely something I'd like to get into because there are a lot of myths and misinformation out there, and it's turned into an industry, and maybe we shouldn't be spending quite so much money on this if possible. I want to do Herb of the Week now. Love this herb. This is herb of the week is Magnolia bark. In Chinese, the name for this is Hua Pu. Sounds strange to us, but it does mean magnolia. Magnolia bark. In the last few years, this herb has been gaining some momentum because it's unique in its ability to do several things at the same time. It's calming to the body, which ties into kind of last week I was talking about different things for sleep. So in and of itself, it's not a powerful sedative, but it is calming for the body. And there should be a distinction between what we call a sedative per se and something that is relaxing. Like everybody probably is familiar with chamomile tea. Chamomile tea is not necessarily considered a sedative, but it is very relaxing. So it does allow, there's an equation. I call it the mind-body equation. So there's the body, that it's chemistry, and it's kind of plodding along, and then there's your mind. And your mind is firing at its own rate, doing its own thing. Oftentimes, if the body is not calm, and the body's getting in the way of the mind, it will agitate the mind. Magnolia has a wonderful way, in the proper dose, if taken at the right time, to kind of take the body out of the equation, which will allow the mind to finally come down. So, magnolia bark, very, very good for various types of agitation, creates calmness, very good for anxiety. Yes, if you're experiencing like a mild case of anxiety, maybe the anxiety is somewhat new to you, Magnolia is a good place to go without resorting to like a hardcore sedative or going down the road of medication. If you can head the medication off at the pass, like I was saying earlier in the show, medication is essential. It's important, but it's not essential. It's important to have it there as a last resort if need be. But if we can avoid it, go ahead and avoid it. So Magnolia will allow you to possibly avoid going down that road of anxiety and requiring medication. The problem is, like I was saying earlier in the show, we're maybe a little too gung-ho, a little too ready to dispense the medications. We're a little too, as a society, a little too ready to accept the medications, and then we have to deal with the consequences collectively as well. Not just one person who's taking it, but all of a sudden you have the Prozac phenomenon, a bunch of people using antidepressant medication. The Ritalin phenomenon, a bunch of kids who have been totally sedated because what is a 6-year-old with a lot of energy? A 6-year-old with energy. That's all he is. He's not bouncing off the walls because he's a Tasmanian devil and he needs to be he needs to be sedated and put on a leash. He's a 6-year-old. They're supposed to have this type of energy. So, magnolia bark, very calming, very safe too. It's very, very, very difficult to OD on this stuff. Another phenomenon that I like, no herb in the world is singular in its action. No herb just does one thing, and that's it. It's strange, because sometimes it'll work in one area, and then you completely cannot anticipate that it'll have an effect in a completely different area. So here I was talking about the calming effect of it and how it's good for the mind, and it kind of takes the body out of the equation so that the mind can come online and rest. But magnolia is anti-inflammatory. In fact, back in 1994, when I was studying traditional Chinese medicine, actually I wasn't studying the whole field, I was just studying the herbology. I was in England at the time, and I had a friend who really liked to ride bicycles, and he would take me out, and we went up this area where there's a series of hills. He was, a good bicyclist. Me, not so much, and my bike wasn't really that great. What happened as a result of this is that it kind of stressed out some of the ligaments around my knee. And I remember coming back from that and limping for the first time in my life. As fate, I was very fortunate because the gentleman that was teaching me, he was also a very good traditional Chinese medical doctor, and he was, I just came to him and said, listen, my knee's hurting. The first thing he did when we went up to the apothecary is he opened up a box with magnolia, and that was the spearhead, and he said, this will help reduce the inflammation. So for extreme forms of inflammation, where knees are really deformed or fingers are really deformed, magnolia is probably not the right way to go. I'd probably go with something like Baxil, which I spoke about before on the show. Baxil is a hyaluronic acid liquid. But for just aches and pains generally in the joints, or this is the first time you're experiencing something like this, Magnolia bark's really, really good. So we have inflammation, we have anxiety, and we have a sedative, Magnolia. Good stuff. Now, I want to do the acupuncture report. Again, this is near and dear and close to my heart. At Lifestyles Nutrition Center in Indian Wells now, we have our acupuncturist. He's got his treatment facility within our store. His name is Dr. Peter Liao, and he is just a phenomenal person and a really, really good acupuncturist / herbalist. Now, Peter and I have had a chance to sit and talk about this. We threw it out last week, and we're going to ask the public's help in this as well. What we want to do is create an outreach program to help vets. So if there's somebody out there that is actually hurting, he's a vet, he's come back a little beat up from Afghanistan or from Iraq, he's living here in the community, the VA will obviously help you, but if you need a little extra tender loving care, by all means go ahead and contact us. If you know of somebody that needs a little extra tender loving care, by all means put them in contact with us. You can email us at lifestylesweb@yahoo.com, and what we're looking, or you can call us at the store at 760-568-6522. What we are looking to do is find people like this. Find our vets that have given, they've given everything. They've given time, they've given effort, and now they've given their health. And we would like to sponsor them. Gratis. It's on us. We're going to try to take their health to that next level. And we're going to do it on a quarterly basis. So we're looking for basically 4 candidates for this. So if you know anybody in the community, anybody out there that could possibly have this as added to their already existing treatment, or maybe that's it. Maybe somebody gave up on them. And we're not limiting this. If it's a hard case, yeah, we want it. And if it's a mild case, sure, we'll take it. And we're looking to help. We're looking to put it back into the community. Again, you can email us a candidate or a friend or a number or somebody that you would like us to talk with. You can email us at lifestylesweb@yahoo.com. I screen those daily, so I'll stay in contact with you immediately. And you can also contact us at the store. Give us a call at 760-568-6522. And we definitely would like your help in this matter. Okay, I have a few other announcements. In the coming weeks, I've been talking to none other than the Valley's own Julio the Kid Diaz. If you're not involved in boxing, you may not know his name, but if you are involved in boxing, then yes, you should know that he's a 2-time world champion. He is from the Valley here, trains over at the Boys and Girls Club in Indio, and he comes, he has, his brother is one of the best coaches in the world, Joel Diaz, one of the best boxing coaches in the world, and his other brother, Antonio, was also a world champ, so these guys are tough as nails. They're from the Valley, and him and his strength and conditioning coach, Sabas Rosas, have given me a tentative promise to come into the show, come to next week's show, if they can make it. Again, he's got a big fight coming up against Sean Porter on the 12th of September, so his schedule is somewhat dense, and but I really look forward to gleaning from them any information about how he stays healthy in such a sport, such a brutal sport. And aside from that, he's just a great guy, and Sabas Rosas is also just a great guy. And they're just good people, and it should make for a real interesting interview. So anyway, where did the time go? Oh, one last thing. I'm a keynote speaker this weekend. This show, the one that you're listening to right now, it's been pre-recorded, so hopefully you didn't call and try to reach me, because I'm a keynote speaker at Taste of Paleo, which is the very first paleo food festival in California. And but what I'm probably going to end up doing is getting a video of that or a recording of it and throwing it up on my Facebook page, which is Lifestyles Nutrition Radio Program. Go to Facebook, like us on Facebook, because last time we were slightly below 100 likes, and I threw it out there and I said, it'd be nice to get over 100. And we shot over 100, which is kind of cool. So I'll if you go and you like me on Facebook, I really appreciate it. Can't get enough love in that department. So, I should be a keynote speaker there. I'm going to be talking about absorption and digestion in the paleo era. And I'll come back with plenty of information and, maybe a couple of people to interview from that event as well. One more thing. I've been tentatively talking to... Should I release this? Should I not? You know what? I'm going to do it. Here, listen up, people. Not only have I been talking to Julio Diaz, but I'm thinking of getting Timothy Desert Storm Bradley, on the show. His wife just gave birth, so congratulations to the Bradley clan on the new member of the family. And as soon as I know he's training for a big fight, he's training for Marquez, and that's coming up in October. So, if he has the time, he said he may be able to make it on the show, but stay tuned. We'll let you folks know when the wonderful Desert Storm Timothy Bradley will be back with us. Thank you all for listening. It's been wonderful. Stay healthy, stay happy. Come back next week. You're listening to Lifestyles Nutrition Radio Program on 1200 Money Radio.